make sure. Friggin' okay.
All right, go for it.
Friggin' what up, dude? Trevor Wilson. I'm the host of this podcast that's mine. Going to be called History Is Dank. History is Dank with Trevor Wilson. Dankness from the friggin' what up, dude? Welcome back to another ep of History Is Dank. I'm your host, Trevor Wilson. We got Aaron going beast mode on the sticks, dude. What up, Aaron, dude?
What up?
Dude, I'm freaking chilling, dude. And I'm actually excited to hear about your vacay, dude, that you went on to Nolans, as they say, dude.
I've
New Orleans,
never once said
as
it.
we say.
Yeah.
New Orleans, exactly, dude.
I have not said NOLA once. I have not said Nolans.
No way, dude. You've been hashtagging NOLA every text. Every time I text you put hashtag NOLA, dude.
I've been saying the Big Easy a lot because I like that.
I like the Big Easy. That's a great nickname. Probably the best nickname for a city, the Big Easy. Big Apple, don't get it, never understood it.
Yeah.
The second city, I kind of like that. A little derogatory for Chicago.
Yeah.
San Diego, the finest city. Nah.
America's finest city, yeah.
Yeah, it's just fine as far as the city goes. It's a sick-ass place, but, you know. What other good ones are there? Sin City's good, Vegas.
Sin City's good,
Come on,
yeah.
that's sick. Sin City's great. That's the best. Biggest little town in the world.
Reno,
another good one.
yeah.
Another good one.
I mean, City of Lights, Paris.
That's a nice one.
Yeah.
City of Dorks, Denver. Fucking City of Dorks, dude. Mile High, dude. Pfft. Nah, dude, Denver's okay. But there's a lot of outdoor dorks there, dude. So you went to a sick ass, before we dive into our topic today, this is on topic because it's history.
Yeah.
You went to a dank ass World War II museum. They have like the dankest one. Don't they have like the dankest one in the country there?
It is the National World War II Museum, yeah.
Why is it there?
It says it on Wikipedia, but it doesn't really hold that much muster.
Mm-hmm.
The Higgins boats that they rode in on D-Day.
Sick. Those are called Higgins boats. Didn't know that. Sick.
Those are Higgins. They're built in New Orleans, so that was one reason. But
nice.
I really don't know. I think they just had like an old brewery that went out of business, and they had the space.
Me and my dank wife, we love places that used to be other places. You know what I mean? Like a coffee shop that used to be like a button factory or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
A taco place that was a firehouse at one point, or like our apartment building, which is still in the same asylum. But that's sick. So what do they have? Do they have like actual sick ass like crafts in there? Like, is there a Jeep?
Oh, there's so much, dude. There's like at least 4 giant planes.
Awesome. That's what I want.
Hanging over the top. They have the little fighter planes.
Mm-hmm.
They have obviously a Higgins boat, a tank.
They have a Higgins boat in there.
Yeah, in the main lobby.
How many bros could fit on there, do you think?
Oh, probably 50.
Really?
Yeah, and apparently D-Day was supposed to be the day before. It was supposed to be June 5th.
Yeah, but it was like weather was
the
bad.
weather was bad. And
Yeah.
so they just slept in that boat.
Oh.
They just stayed in that boat for 24 hours. The next morning at 6 a.m. So that was something I learned that was fucking wild. Like,
that's insane. Dude, what a
like
terrible...
elbow to elbow, packed in like sardines.
What a terrible experience, man. And then you get to go be welcomed by
machine gun
fires
from above a cliff.
Exactly.
At times.
Great, dude.
Like you're running into the high ground.
Yeah. You got to get your shoes wet.
Yeah.
You got to get off a boat, have wet shoes and socks. Always terrible.
Your whole body, really. Nothing better than wet jeans.
Terrible experience.
Is what you're wearing.
Yeah, exactly. Horrendous experience.
Yeah. Your gun gets wet. Your gun gets jammed.
But what I love is that you pulled a nice ass dad vacation move, which is taking the fam to a museum. I love that.
Yeah, it was just me and my wife, and
you didn't have a little baby with you?
No. She stayed home with my family. So
nice.
Like, it was Friday. It was supposed to rain torrentially, which it did as we left. So like, there wasn't much to do anyway. So I was like, oh, let's hit it up, and didn't know it was going to be a 4-hour experience.
But was that awesome? Is that immersive?
It's that immersive, yeah.
That's so sick. And your wife is so dank for enjoying that too, dude. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's nuts. There's a whole just a D-Day wing that has like it honors. When you walk in, it says in honor of Arnold Spielberg.
Oh yeah, Steven Spielberg.
Spielberg's dad. And then as you're leaving the D-Day experience, it's in honor of
Tom Hanks.
It's Tom Hanks' dad. I forget what his first name was.
Oh, Mr. Hanks, dude. Dude, that's pretty insane. So both their dads served or like were experienced D-Day, and is that why they were so drawn to the story, Saving Private Ryan and all that, and like Band of Brothers?
It's weird though, because when you go in, you go in the museum and you're immediately on a train as though you're going off to boot camp.
Whoa.
And they have this little immersive, literally a train car you sit in, and then the video that comes up and does some stuff, but then you go in and you go up the stairs, and we accidentally went straight up the top of the stairs to D-Day. So we did the war out of order.
That's all right, but you know what? That's okay, because that's it's the sickest place, dude.
Because you go back down and it's like the lead up to it, and there's a big part at the first part of how not into going we were, and Lindbergh being Charles Lindbergh being the guy, the first most major figure to be like, we should not be going to World War II. That's not our problem.
Yeah, I remember that. We covered that on the pod. People would say he was like a Nazi sympathizer, and he's German, Lindbergh.
He had visited them, so I think he might have had that as well. But
people were out. And that's why people think it's a conspiracy that like we orchestrated Pearl Harbor, or like knew. And there was definitely signs pointing to it, but I doubt that like the government was like, yeah. And then people love just having hindsight as 2020 being like, battleships were obsolete. We were okay losing battleships. Why do you think all of our aircraft carriers were out at that point?
Yeah.
The Japanese didn't know. I'm like, I'm sure the Japanese knew. That's what they used to attack the harbors. They used aircraft carriers. I think everyone kind of knew aircraft carriers were pretty fucking important.
Yeah, and probably hard to take down anyway.
Yeah.
You just take what you can get, what's in the harbor.
Exactly. And I think there was weather coming in, and that's why they were actually out, because they deal with weather better out at sea than actually in harbor and port.
Yeah, so there was that, and then there was a whole thing about industries that flipped for the war effort, and there was even a big like model home you walk through as to be the wives that had to stay behind, and so I texted you a picture of the fireside chats thing. I was like, first podcast.
That was sick. That's true, dude. You think about FDR, bro. Groundbreaking. Another thing he did, dude.
Yeah.
First podcast.
But crazy that I texted you this as well. They had an Enigma machine in there, which the Germans used to code all their messages.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
And then Alan Turing in the Imitation Game, you saw that movie. He figures out the code there and breaks it.
Yeah, first you have to watch U571 for when they steal the machine. Then you got to watch.
Oh yeah.
That what's the name of that movie again? Sorry, I'm done.
Imitation Game.
Imitation Game. Good movie, dude.
So so then you leave there. You leave that building. You go into another building, and it's Japan. The whole Japanese fight broken down, literally by island. Basically, you walk through all this stuff. It's all set designed, and there's leaves and rocks and sand and planes above and jeeps and stuff.
That's awesome.
And all the weapons and recovered Japanese swords and stuff. Like there was one story about a guy who the Japanese had failed to win a battle, and the remaining ones were trying to kill themselves. He saw a bunch jump off a
like Okinawa
cliff, and then he it was probably like Iwo Jima, and then one tried to kill himself with his own sword, and that sword was there. It was nuts.
Whoa.
And then you have the road to Berlin, which is also like a whole other thing. Obviously ends on the Holocaust a little bit, but then thankfully takes you into the Monuments Men, which should have been a better movie.
Yeah.
Because it's really crazy how much they saved like 3.5 million pieces of art.
It's awesome. That's humanity. That's culture,
the last thing you get in there, which is nice, because it's like it brings you up off of the Holocaust, which was horrendous.
Yes, all time bummer. Dude, that sounds awesome, man. What a great experience.
Yeah. You should. Anyone should do it. I mean, if they're into history,
I would love to go and do that. I would love to. And speaking of World War II, before we move into our subject, have to say, Hanks and Spielberg, we love them. They're producing a series that's out now, Masters of the Air, about the Bloody 100th, about the B-17 bomber crews that go run daytime suicide missions over Berlin. And the most risky missions where like literally survival rate was flipping a coin. Dude, the series sucks.
It's very detailed, and so it's kind of boring.
Dude, yeah. Well, and also, there's too many characters.
Yeah.
Episodes are super short. Like it says an hour. There's like a 3-minute recap, then 3 minutes of credits, then the episode for about 40 minutes, then 8 minutes of like what's coming next week.
Yeah.
It is, I mean, it looks amazing. Visually, it's awesome. There's been some incredible like aerial sequences that are awesome, but like I don't care about the characters, really.
Yeah.
I have to say. And it's bad.
It's tough, yeah.
Like, I'm like, great. Like, it's just, I don't know.
It's like a show by buffs made for buffs, but like there aren't that many buffs left, man.
Yeah. I know. Reminds me when I was in Daytona, Florida. At the gas station, they were selling hats that said World War II veteran. I'm like, dude, there's like 5 dudes who can buy that hat now.
Yeah, what's the market for that?
I have this hat that says, my buddy Luke got it for me, Luke Knoll, what up, that says veteran of gas station boner pills. And then today I was walking, and I wasn't wearing it, but my neighbor stops me and he goes, hey, I saw you wearing a veteran hat. I just was wondering what, and before he even finished, I go, no. I didn't, sir. It's just a joke. I do comedy. To this, my buddy, and he started laughing. And then I was like, did you serve? He's like, yeah. He's like, Army, infantry. I was like, damn, dude, that's rad. He's like, thank you, dude. But now I learned up to this point, we had always been head nod neighbors, like head nod bros. You know what I'm talking about? Where when you see someone, you just go, what up?
Yeah.
Just give a nice, like a knowing contact, then we keep moving. So we kind of had been vibing like that. I've got a few neighbors where I vibe like that. So now we've stepped it up, dude. So it's nice, dude. So if anyone freaking invades our building, dude, I know who I'm going to go to first. This guy can handle himself, dude.
Shit, yeah.
Okay. Let's dive into our subject. Actually, before that,
also, if his music's a little loud, you got to let it slide because he might be packing.
For sure. 100%, dude. And he's trained with a knife.
Yeah.
So, yeah. If he's blasting some music, dude, just trying to unwind to a little Enya or trying to bone to some Enya Orinoco flow. It's probably the worst Enya impression that's ever happened anywhere right there. Enya hits nice sometimes, though. It does,
Yeah.
Just chilling by yourself, dude, cleaning or something like that, put on a little Enya, you're going to clean. Before you know it, you're doing a deep clean. Huge announcement right now. This isn't an advertisement. Kind of is, but it's a self-endorsement. So maybe that's more off-putting. I don't know. What I do know is filming a stand-up comedy special. Okay, there's my camera.
Let's do solo. Yeah.
Filming a stand-up comedy special. 2 shows, one night, April 1st. Okay, April 1st, Paperback Brewery, right here, Los Angeles, Atwater Village, technically lovely little town, lovely little area. Get your tickets.
Not Frogtown.
Not Frogtown.
Atwater Village.
Exactly. Paperback Brewing, very dank, good beers, good IPAs. It's going to be free beer. There's going to be free beer. Okay, that's for real. Beer, free, good laughs, great time. Get your tickets. I'm going to put a link down in this episode, and I'm going to be sharing it on social media. So April 1st, come out, be there. This is one you don't want to miss. Okay, let's get into our show. Speaking of terrible shows, television, film, TV, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Let's be honest, pretty bad.
I liked it.
Oh, did you watch it on a plane?
No, I saw it in theaters.
Whoa. I watched it on a plane and I thought, hey, this is okay. It's definitely better than Crystal Skull.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't come close to the original 3.
No.
But Crystal Skull is trash as far as I'm concerned. That's season 2 of Friday Night Lights. It has never happened in my mind. I've blanked it out, repressed it. I'm sorry to even bring it up now. Dial of Destiny, here's the thing. I didn't mind the story so much. And the bad guy was good. What's that bad guy's name again?
Mads Mikkelsen.
Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah.
Guy was born to be a bad guy.
Really was.
He was born to be evil. Like that's. I'm just sorry. His face has an evil look. It's just the card he was dealt. But and I'll say this, and maybe you agree. The writers of Indiana Jones, I don't know how much George Lucas writes and stuff, and it's adapted, isn't it? Like, are these works adapted, or they're just heavily based on like those stories from the 30s?
Yeah.
Dude, the female characters are written terribly in all these movies. Like the girl in it was so annoying. Like it was like she was too annoying. And I don't think it was her fault. And like her acting was good, but I'm like, this character sucks.
Yeah. I felt the same way.
I hate this character, and
at a certain point, let it go. Like
totally, dude. Just relax.
You're on an adventure. Like,
yeah. How can you still be that invested?
Yeah, no need to like make a sale right now.
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever the hell.
And all the Indiana Jones female characters are written poorly. They're all annoying.
Yeah, I don't know if
maybe not the main brunette girl, but definitely the girl from who's the blonde girl, and is it Temple of Doom?
Yeah, Kate Capshaw, Spielberg's wife.
Does a good job acting.
Yeah. Terrible
written character. Almost unwatched, like cartoonishly bad. But that one is the most cartoonish of all of them.
Yeah.
Like they go off like a fucking 85-foot waterfall and live.
They fall out of a plane on a raft.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That's
nuts. Yeah. Anyway, Archimedes is a character in the Dial of Destiny.
Yeah.
He's heavily referenced. So this movie's obviously old, a little bit dated here. But then there's this article coming out that's just been pushed on me that's saying this like kid scaled down one of Archimedes' inventions. He has like a ton of inventions, and one of them is a death ray, which basically it's like taking mirrors and focusing sunlight onto an object. Like it's like what Seth does in Toy Story with the magnifying glass and kills ants like a maniac. But the Archimedes death ray is during this Siege of Syracuse, where Archimedes was from. The Romans, and we'll get into it, it's like the second Punic Wars, were attacking Syracuse, and Archimedes was defending it, and he was using these cool, crazy machines of war, and one of them was a death ray. And so this kid, Brendan Center's his name, for a science fair project, works on it, and he's like, basically his results are it's basically a bunch of hoopla. He's like, yeah, I think probably it could have worked if you scaled it up. And he's not the first guy to retry it. Like you had philosopher Descartes, who found it implausible in 1637. He's like, nope, can't do it.
Been to his grave.
Where is that? In France?
Paris,
yeah. The City of Lights. Oh, the City of Lights.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had other dudes, fucking some guy Kircher, he sounds like a beast. You had Georges Louis Leclerc. He tried it with mirrors. Everyone's like, no. 1973, you had an engineer using some more modern stuff. He says it was plausible. He used bronze-coated mirrors to set tar-covered wood on fire in just a couple minutes. But it was close.
Yeah.
Exactly. The thing is, he's like it was far away. He's like, the sun would have to be perfect. And he's like, there's just too many variables. Like if it was cloudy, the distance from the shore, they're like,
you get a dank bronze, like tan.
Exactly. And it might just disorient the guys. Like, yeah,
it's going to shine their eyes.
Exactly. And in fact, like, I think Emperor Constantine would do that. Like he would have really like, mirrored, he would put the Chi-Rho on shields, those Greek letterings, Chi-Rho. Mm-hmm. But also he would put like mirrors on his shields for like when they went in the phalanx and people were charging during the sun, it would just blind the other soldiers coming at him. They'd be all disoriented and couldn't see shit. So, and you know, this dork experiment that this dork kid did.
Till Emperor Ray-Ban came around, am I right?
Dude, that's what I'm talking about, dude. He teamed up with the Oakley Empire. Just cruised around and conquered the world, dude. Off-roading from battle to battle, froating. Huge. So
the land is blocked, my lord. Then we will ride jet skis.
Exactly. Our arrows will blot out the sun. No need. Already got shades. And we're going to fight in our shades. Classic, dude. Coolest generals in the world. And there's actually a cool general in this Siege of Syracuse. Before we get into Archimedes and some of his dank-ass inventions, what's going on at the siege at Syracuse? Like I mentioned, you got the Second Punic War going down. This war is most famous for Hannibal, the battles of Carthage versus Scipio Africanus. That's that famous reenactment that they do in Gladiator. Is like, remember when that guy announced, he's like, the barbarian hordes of Carthage against General Scipio Africanus's ranks. And then, Maximus obviously defeats them, even though in real history the Romans won that battle. And then, Commodus is like, I'd rather enjoy surprises. That's from the Second Punic War. But what you also have are other engagements going on, and one of which is this siege at Syracuse. And it's a matchup between this general who's a badass and this genius, Archimedes. So it's general versus genius is sort of how it's, if it was put out in the newspaper of the day or the tablature that they would have been reading. And the general's fucking pretty badass, dude. His name is... it's Marcellus. Let me get his whole name for you.
Wallace.
Wallace?
Marcellus Wallace?
Dude, Pulp Fiction.
Does he look like
Let's
a bitch?
go. And he opens it up and he's going to get medieval on their ass. Dude, before I get into him, why this battle's going on, why Syracuse? Obviously, I'm not talking about the, lacrosse powerhouse in upstate New York. No, although I do love talking lax. I'm talking about actual Syracuse off the coast of Sicily. That's like the island below Italy, like Godfather type shit. Okay, the boot of Italy kicking the island of Sicily. That's where Syracuse is. Its dictator, Hieronymus, he was recently assassinated after pledging allegiance to the enemies of Rome. The inhabitants of the city are predominantly Greek, and unlike the Romans, were largely focused on arts and had little appreciation for warfare. At least that's what Plutarch says. This is coming from the Roman historian Plutarch, so he might be a little biased here. But the victors write the story, don't they? And the city's location and geographic characteristics gave it great strategic value. So that's why it was a target strategy. A good port harbor to have there in the Mediterranean. Now, the Roman estimation, it would not be especially difficult to conquer due to this civic unrest that's going on there. Assassination of the leader, they'll go in there during a civil war, just come in, people are fighting anyway, we'll take over. This General Marcellus, he's assigned to that. Plutarch describes him as a man of war, of a sturdy body and vigorous arm. That's a good-ass way to be described. Sturdy body, vigorous arm. All that's missing is strong penis. Good dick. He says he was naturally fond of war, yet he was also modest and humane. He's beloved by the men under his command and had great prowess as a swordsman. This guy's a beast. In fact, he would do one-on-one matches with people sometimes. Like, instead of fighting, kind of like Genghis Khan type style, where they'd be like, look, that movie The King with my boy T. Chalamet, my fucking boy, dude. Hey, did you see Dune 2, by the way? A little tangent here. Have you seen Dune 2?
No.
Dune 2 is sick. I love Dune. But Timothée Chalamet he's supposed to be like a badass fighter. It's kind of the worst casting of all time for a badass fighter, am I right?
Yeah.
Like, I can't beat anyone's ass, but I'm pretty sure I could beat Timothée Chalamet's ass. And I'm not a fighter. I don't know. I guess he's like good with a knife and quick, but I don't know. I think my boy Austin Butler could take him, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
More on Marcellus, though. This guy's a beast. Maybe just think of it because, I don't know, badass sword fighting and stuff like that. The sword fighting is sick and dude. More on Plutarch. I mean, let's be honest. Like, Marcellus, efficient in this is a quoting Plutarch, was efficient in practice in every kind of fighting, but in single combat he surpassed himself, never declining a challenge, and always killing his challengers. According to Plutarch, one of Marcellus's greatest triumphs in a single combat was killing a Gallic king on the battlefield and confiscating his armor in an achievement known as spolia opima. Basically, that's like where I grew up. If you beat someone's ass outside of Oso Jack, you take their beanie, or you'd be like, give me your fucking paintball gun now, dude. Sorry, dude. Cool chain wallet. Late. or you sock a guy and you take his Arnett's or his Ray-Bans or his Oakleys. Give me those. You don't deserve them anymore. It's freaking spoilia opima. It's in fact what I would call the model of sunglasses that I jack, maybe a pair of black flies. I don't know. All I'm saying is Archimedes is going to get ganked by this guy, dude. Some dork-ass nerd studying shit, dude. Freaking takes his armor.
Yeah, I heard he even threw Tony Rocky Horror off a balcony. Still Marcellus Wallace. For giving a foot massage to his wife.
You don't do that, man.
Yeah.
You don't do that. His wife, Uma Thurman. Former king, this guy named, the king of Syracuse, named Hero, probably saying that wrong, spelled Hiero, good ass name, good branding. That's the bottled water branding of kings' names. He loves Archimedes. Archimedes is his boy. He's impressed by his inventions, and he is often requesting, and he'll give him whatever resources he needs to build him mechanisms of war, one of which was the death ray. What he's most famous for is what is called a siege engine. We know this as a pulley system or like a catapult. Also, these siege engines could be used to launch large ships into the water using pulley systems and physics. Dude, Archimedes was a fucking beast, bro, at physics. Plutarch described him as one soul moving and managing everything, for all weapons lay idle and his alone were then employed. Oh, this is in reference to his battle tactics. Sorry, I jumped ahead a little bit there. Sorry, I got excited. Basically, Plutarch, it doesn't matter, but what exactly he says, what he's referencing is he's this sort of distracted genius type. He'd like forget to bathe and stuff, and people have to like, you need to go take a bath. He's like, no, my equations, I must get back to my equations. And Plutarch also says he kind of hated, like most geniuses, kind of like an Oppenheimer, recognized the importance of, defending the city and the necessity of mechanisms of war, but also he didn't like them. He would rather just create inventions that were, one, itched his curious mind, the scratch of the curious mind, and also, could benefit humanity. He wanted to, he sort of was more of a benevolent dude, or at least wasn't interested in fighting. He wanted to just push things forward and create progress and, make life easier and better for his city-state, if you will. So these mechanisms of war aren't used by Hero, that former king. Then, like I just mentioned, another king gets ganked, and so there's like an interim dude in charge, but really it's Archimedes. Everyone knows we need this guy. There's superior Roman forces led by a well-respected general outside. They're going to come fuck us up. So they employ a series of weapons. First and foremost, these siege engines, which caught the Roman ranks off guard. They describe them as, huge thunderous crashes, devices and stones that were, larger than anything they've ever seen, hurtled at them and spoiling their ranks and throwing the men asunder. And then they say in the waters, he invented this like iron claw thing, which is a sick ass name, good ass branding on all these names, which apparently looked like the beak of a crane, or like a tractor thing, when it reached out and could lift using pulley systems and everything, displacement and shit like that, dude. That's how technical I get about describing stuff, is displacement and shit like that, dude. To pick up ships out of the water, move them around, toss the crew, put them back in there, and hopefully they sink or be rendered useless for the time being. He'd think of everything, close quarter combat. He even put like the walls like a more of a slant, because he knew it would attract the enemy forces there, but then devised systems to like put stone and stuff that we've seen more in medieval times, but like very efficiently put down to take out any invading force. So Plutarch quotes the Roman legionnaires saying, whenever the legionnaires, saw a bit of rope or stick or timber projecting a little over the walls of Syracuse, they say, "There it is," they'd cried. "Archimedes is training stone engine upon us," and they'd turn their backs in and flee. So they were afraid of like anything that came over the wall. They knew it was Archimedes, and they knew it was some harbinger of death. So anytime they saw, he had like massive spears, like in the beginning of Gladiator, those fucking big ass spears that go through like two dudes. Archimedes was using that shit. But finally, and we'll get into more of Archimedes, but just taking us through this battle and stuff. Marcellus, he basically sees this reconnaissance. He goes and they reconnoitered is the word here from this article, but does a little reconnaissance on this tower at the edge of the city that appeared kind of poorly defended. So he decides to apply the principle, get this name, Schwerpunkt, which is a concentration of force, which I'm like, dude, that sounds like my first album, dude. Schwerpunkt.
Yeah, I saw a lot of Schwerpunks in New Orleans.
Big time, dude. Schwerpunkt is what's going on in that scene in Pulp Fiction when the Gimp comes out. That's some Schwerpunkt stuff, dude. They basically, at least at that aesthetic that he's wearing, dude, that leather, dude. And they do like a sort of a heavy concentration of force on one small target. They strike heavy and hard, and the Greek forces are caught entirely off guard. Also, what helped is Marcellus. He timed it perfectly because fucking dumbass Greeks are throwing some party, some festivals going on for like, I forget what god it is, but they're holding a festival, and he's like, perfect, they're distracted. So he's like, let's go at this time. So yeah, Archimedes, his great inventions don't end up winning the day in Syracuse, although they did definitely postpone it. And then this is a little bit hazy, but they write in history that Archimedes was so dedicated to his devices that just a standard Roman soldier was ordering him to step away from his equations and charts and whatever, his like fucking lab where he did all of his homework and shit. And then that legionnaire was like finally like, all right, dude, I'm gonna gank you and murk you if you don't move. And they say, oh, Archimedes is like, no, I must finish. I'm almost, in the scene, I'm almost have the equation for my dial of destiny or whatever it would be. Oh, I can't. And then the guy's like, boom, and just cuts him down. Total dumbass. And then Marcellus, the general, is like, look, there's no honor in that. And in fact, he turns his back on the soldier that did that to dishonor him. He's not one to kill his own soldiers. Like, look, you're a soldier. I have honor. I'm not going to murk you for doing that. Technically, I did say I should have said, just don't kill Archimedes. I thought I did make that clear, but I also did give this order of like, if people aren't listening to you, like, yeah, you should gank them. So I understand that. I'm not happy with how you handled things. If this was his employer review, he'd be like, look, we're going to have to work on that. That's why your raise isn't as high as you'd maybe like it to be. But I'm going to turn my back on you and give you dishonor. Because Marcellus was like, this guy's a valuable dude. Let's have him come work with us. But also, Marcellus is a man of class. He wants to sit down and probably pour Archimedes a glass of wine and learn from him. Let me hear about these tactics. Make me a better general. Or just, I want to have good ass conversations, dude, Think about it. A good ass conversation in ancient times, fucking huge.
Yeah.
Hugely entertaining.
Hard to come by. Mm-hmm. You don't have podcasts.
Exactly. FDR wasn't putting out fireside chats for years. No. So for a millennium and a half, a little bit more. So Archimedes is dead, and what drew us to this are his mechanisms of war. It's interesting. It's we're obsessed with this as humans. We love it. I don't know why we love the destruction of one another, but we do. It's something in our DNA. We love glorifying honor. We also love glorifying genius. So now, turning a page from his battle mechanisms, and Archimedes probably would have wanted us to remember him for his more ordinary functional inventions, and we will do that now. So perhaps his most famous invention, or most practical, he has two that's arguable. He has so many, and we'll go through a few here, but something called the Archimedes screw, which is a way to bone your wife really, really good and get her which is, he actually wrote an equation. If I bone my wife, I go down for this long,
Then I move up from here. I put on a fantastic play. I put on a Hellenistic tragedy. I put that on, which would be basically equivalent to The Rock from today. I put that on. That's for foreplay. I've put out plates of wine and cheese, what we enjoy in olive oil in the Greek Isles. I go down for probably 30 to 45 minutes. Penetration at a 45-degree angle for 30 seconds, which I think I can last, and that will retrieve maximum pleasure for me and wife. That's the Archimedes screw. Not all true. Some of it is true, though. Does involve waterworks, and it does involve a screw at a 45-degree angle. But really what it's about, and we still use this today in like shipping yards, and to basically pump fuel, also we create energy with this now, but really it's if you need to like drain something, or if there's flooding or anything like that, you take this like piping and the screw thing, and if you move and you rotate it, it will drive water up and out of the shaft. Incredible to think about. Also, one of Archimedes' great skill is, and I value this skill in anyone, is being able to explain, and I'm not good at this, complex shit in a very easy way. Like that's what math equations do, but it's difficult for us to like look at. Like he was basically doing calculus, something that they would call like, his Archimedes principle was basically, we'll get into the principle in a second, but it's basically calculus, or called like hydrostatic or there's another term for it. Fuck, man. It's in here somewhere, but basically he's like a heavily influential to like Leibniz and Newton years later, who invented calculus as we know today, but is using the same principles, well before their time. Principles that he derived also, and he spent time in Egypt, and he posted up with some of his bros, two scholars, Canon of Samos and Erastinus of Cyrene. Great to be a dude of someplace. Strider of San Juan Capistrano. Strider of freaking SoCal, dude. So it's a nice ass title to have. Fucking, what I love what he describes for the king, one of the things that he describes is displacement of water. And the king's like, dude, look, I have this sick ass crown of gold, and people debate if this is true or not. He's like, dude, I've got this sick ass crown of gold, but I don't fucking trust this goldsmith who made it, dude. He's a schmoll, dude. I don't like this guy. He lingers, dude. He looks at my sister, dude. I don't like this guy, dude, but he makes good crowns. But do you fucking think he shorted me on how much gold's in here? And then Archimedes, being all smart, he's like, look, dude, I developed this principle of displacement where if we put your crown, he goes, how much gold, he's saying, is in your crown? And I forget what the number is, but let's say like 100 ounces. I don't fucking know if that's right. It's probably way too much weighing 100 ounces on your head. But whatever. 100 ounces, just for the sake of example.
Yeah, that's like almost 10 pounds, I think.
Yeah, well, the king's got a jacked neck, dude. It's Goldberg, dude. Okay, 10 ounces of gold, let's just say.
Yeah.
10 ounces. He gets a little bucket. And he goes, this gold ingot, which ingot just means any shape of gold, doesn't matter. He goes, doesn't matter. He goes, if in your crown, no matter what the shape is, if it's the right weight, so, and if in the idea being, if he is using fake gold, because gold's very light, or uses some other material in there, it's going to be heavier. It's tough to get lighter than gold with the same color and everything like that. He's like, there's nothing like that. It's not going to be lighter. And if it is lighter, then he's robbing you of materials. And then if it's heavier, it's fake stuff. So it better be fucking exact, because it's supposed to be solid gold, right? So he puts 10 ounces of just a solid gold, say fucking little ingot in there, whatever shape you want to imagine in your mind, maybe a shape of a hog. That's fine. Drops it in the bucket, and then this much water comes out, and they, measure it perfectly into another little device. Then he puts the crown in, and no matter what the shape is, because it's the same weight, should displace the exact same amount of water. Doesn't happen. Schmoll gets ganked. Archimedes does his king right. And he comes up with a principle of displacement. Huge. Okay? He uses this same theory as this Archimedes principle to describe how boats can float, because you, like surface area, he uses that shit. It's called like his cylindrical principles. He does that's part of what his Archimedes screw is about. Like, he basically comes up with pi. He comes up with the number pi by taking like 96 angles to go around in a circle, and like there is no perfect circle that exists in nature, and he calculates those 96 angles and comes up with the number like 3.14. Dude fucking invents pi. He describes it. Well, you know, the principle has been around and it is a naturally occurring thing, but he describes naturally occurring shit very well, dude. That's what's sick. Geometry, very, very well, dude. Infinitesimals, that's what I was looking for with his basically he understands the idea of limits, which is what calculus does, and I'm an econ major, so I should understand that more, but I don't, because it's really hard, and honestly, if you're not really excited about it, very boring.
I took philosophy math in college, so.
Whoa.
So it's like arguments and symbols.
Yeah. Dude, math at a high level is math is like basically a language. Like that's what's amazing. Like he could go to Egypt, have equations, and it's all Greek lettering. We still use Greek lettering to this day. When using calculus, there's like Newtonian denotation, and then I think one other one that I forget what it is. But fucking, if you understand those theories and principles, and it's tough to grasp, you're basically speaking that language, and you can speak it with anyone, any physicist, and then you can write with it and write theories. It's all like theoretical when you get to a very, very high level. And I think like if you're a math major, very, very toughly, all those like engineering majors and stuff, dude, those are smart guys. Mechanical engineers, EEs, tough stuff, dude. Yeah. Yeah, so just throwing out some respect to the math majors and the Archimedes bros. But these principles could be prescribed to weapons of destruction or benevolence and innovation. Sometimes a little bit of both. Pulley system, we still use a lot of systems. We still use Archimedes screw today. Still obviously are using pulley systems today. Levers, dude, dude was making levers, bro. A water lever. His famous quote is, "Give me a place to stand on and I will move the earth." Pretty badass. That's like how he pushed the ship out. This idea of moving the earth, employing enormous lever mechanisms coupled with a series of pulleys. He orchestrated the launch of a colossal vessel, as they say. He invented an ancient analog computer. The world's oldest gear machine is how it's dubbed. We know this as the Antikythera mechanism. We've talked about this on former episodes. Crafted around 205 BC, designed by Greek astronomers to predict complex astronomical phenomena, including eclipses and stuff. Part of it is still shrouded in mystery, but basically it serves as an advance. It just shows that there's advanced knowledge taking place in craftsmanship, dude. The measurement of the circle was huge. Already mentioned that. And that's where I was really wanting to end it. Let me see if I'm missing anything else here. Talked about the iron claw, and it's tough. Like, you try to talk about these principles, and I put the stuff here. I would say if you're interested in it, you got to go just read about it. It's tough to, I'm not Archimedes. It's tough to describe. Just stuff on floating bodies. You know what I mean? He probably found out when he looked at one of his bros who was jacked get in the water and be like, why is that guy sinking? Then he looked at one of his bros who was maybe a little heftier, enjoyed a few wine and cheese boards more than the other dude, and he saw him float in the displacement. He's like, whoa, what principles are going on here when he's posting up with his boys in the freaking, what do they call pools in Roman times, dude? The atrium, dude?
Yeah.
Posting up in the atrium, dude. You can think of a lot of beautiful things when you're posting up with your boys in a nice body of water. Probably some of the best ideas have ever happened while doing that, And he made good bros at the library in Alexandria. It's where he studied. He calculated his other bros. I wanted to say to give them fat shout outs before we cruise out. The guy Eratosthenes, he's the head of the library. Basically, just like kind of a dude who would hold a trivia night. He wasn't really like,
That's me.
I love that, dude. Yeah, you're a beast. I love trivia night, dude. He's the guy who first calculated the circumference of Earth.
Whoa.
And got it. So, badass dudes. Conan, Serene, It's a Conan of Samos. Sounds like a character you'd play with in Smash Brothers. He was just a respected astronomer and mathematician. But you got to have bros to study with, dude. Even the greatest minds need great minds to be around. So let that be a thing, dude. You know, if you're out there and you're a genius and you got a good ass idea of how to create a sick ass bong for the boys, you know, run it by your engineering bros. Figure out the logistics, get it down right, advance humanity that way. Because then you hit that puppy and it's going to make you get better ideas, you know, but don't hit it too much because then you're just going to get lazy. Take that away from this, dude. And have honor like Marcellus, dude, the good general of Rome. Other than that, stay fired up. Stay stoked. Aaron, you're a beast. We'll catch you guys in the next episode. Remember, the special's coming out. Excuse me, it's not coming out. The special's being taped live. Don't know when it will come out. Taped live. Be there at the performance. It's going to be the best night. It's going to be a huge night, dude. It's basically going to replace my birthday this year. April 1st, and I'm not fooling. April 1st, 2 shows, 1 night. Paperback Brewery. Late.